after NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar slammed Prime Minister Modi over his tweet on Israel. He has been receiving sharp criticism from Bharatiya Janata Party leaders. Taking a dig at Prime Minister Modi, Sharad Pawar had earlier stated that while India has always stood with Palestine, PM Modi's stand to support Israel is quote-unquote unfortunate. Reacting to this, BJP leader Sharad Patel has stated that Sharad Pawar's statements need to be condemned. Also joining us on the broadcast this morning to present perspectives is Ms. Rajalakshmi Joshi, political analyst. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for joining us on NewsX. There is politics that is brewing on the domestic front over the war against Hamas that is taking place in Israel. NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar slammed PM Modi over his tweet where he stated that India supports Israel in its fight against terror. BJP leaders have hit back. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari, Union Minister Piyush Goyal and now Union Minister Sharad Patel have also hit out, and the latter has stated that Sharad Pawar's statement needs to be condemned. What do you make of this war of words that is brewing within India?
Very good morning. And, this I feel that, you can look at it in two ways when you see the statement of Sharad Pawar ji and of some of his party persons. If you see that, it looks like either they have very limited understanding of the situation or they're just using the situation for some electoral gain. And it does look like, the second part is more true. Because Sharad Patel ji, actually he has rightly said that whatever the statement of the Prime Minister and Minister of External Affairs has been is as per our country's policies, present policies. See, and so even if the previous government had a different stand on it, and even if today, as per the current situation, we have a different stand, if I am saying, so even then, it is the responsibility of all of the countrymen to stand by that, because it is obviously in the nation's interest. So whatever the current policy is, one should stand by that. So one best example I would say is that in Israel currently there is this controversy over the blast at the hospital. So if you look at it, the main opposition leader, that is Naftali Bennett, he actually gave a statement in favor of Israel. The Israeli government. He said he has defended the Israeli government, saying that the blast was not due to the Israeli Defense Forces. So he has stood very strongly. The previous Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, has stood very strongly by the present Prime Minister. So I think that is how it should be. So if you look at it, if you look at the history of our relations with Israel, right from 1950, we have had diplomatic ties with Israel, definitely. Even though India has stood strongly for the cause of Palestine, which is a rightful cause, but at the same time, like if you remember, Sushma Swaraj ji had said in 2014 in Parliament that our stand has not changed vis-a-vis Palestine, that we stand for the cause of Palestine, but at the same time, we do have good ties with Israel also. And now, right now, in the current situation, it is ridiculous to see that these political leaders, how can they equate a terror organization called Hamas with the people of Palestine, with the Gaza? So that is something that obviously it kind of points out to the fact that they are probably using this for electoral gain, because Hamas does not actually represent the entire country or the people of Palestine. It stands for the Islamic Resistance Force, which is a designated terror organization and which is constantly in conflict with Israel. And in fact, they are the ones who are using the people of Gaza Strip as human shields, and they are the ones who are actually responsible, directly or indirectly, for whatever is happening in Gaza Strip right now. So the ghastly way in which they attacked Israel, it was a completely inhuman terror attack. So which has to be, unconditionally it has to be called out by everybody. So which we as a country, we have rightly called out. And at the same time, the very next day, PM Modi ji has also said that we also stand for the rights of the Palestinian people. So both are possible at the same time. We stand for the rights of the people who definitely need a country, they need food and all humanitarian aid, and at the same time, we need to condemn the terror attack. So the way in which the Hamas attacked Israel was totally uncalled for, and it is something that everybody should unconditionally condemn. There is no question about it. So I think that we as a country, we are very clear in our stand, and that is why I think that everybody, all political parties, they should actually be giving their full support, because Israel has stood by India in the Kargil war. It has stood by India in the India-Pakistan war, in spite of the fact that we didn't even have an embassy here till 1992. So just imagine that in spite of all of that, when this country has supported us in our war against Pakistan, so this is a country who has stood by us unconditionally at all times. So I think that we also need to keep that in mind and make sure that we have strong ties with this country. So just like we have had mutual understandings with Russia as well as in Ukraine, so because of which we were able to evacuate more than 25,000 students. So similarly, we have good relations with Palestine as well as with Israel. And Israel has been a really good friend, and I think we should keep it that way. So I think that these people are just using this as, something to appease a part of their vote bank, which I think is completely wrong, because the people of Hamas are definitely not looking into the interests of Muslims in any part of the world.